I'll be performing a manual muscle test of MP Extension involving the extensor digitorum, the extensor indicus, and the extensor digiti minimi. All three of these muscles originate at the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, which is just right here. All three of these muscles are innervated by the radial nerve C7 to C8. The extensor digitorum inserts into the dorsum of the middle of the second through fifth digits, which is just right here on your hand. The extensor indicus inserts into the dorsum of the second IP joint, and that's just going to be right here. And the extensor digiti minimi inserts into the dorsum base of the middle phalanx of digit 5, which is going to be right here. Okay, to begin the test, I'm going to have the client sit down with his palm face down in pronation. I'll stabilize at the wrist, and for the extensor digitorum test, I'll apply resistance across the dorsum of all proximal phalanges of digits 2 through 5 in the direction of flexion. And when I tell him to, I'm going to have the client bend his knuckles back as far as they'll go. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. And because he was able to do that, I grade him a 3, and then I'll apply some resistance. And since he was able to take maximal resistance, he is given a grade 5. If he could only take some resistance, he'd be a 4. And that was for the extensor digitorum. And for the extensor indicus, I will do the same thing, but to the index finger. Okay, so ready? Okay, good. So he got a 5 for that one. And then for the extensor digiti minimi, he'll do the same thing. And he's given a grade of 5. If he wasn't able to get through the full range of motion, I would have him bring his wrist into a mid position. So go ahead and do that. And then I'll stabilize him at the wrist. Go ahead and bring your knuckles back. Good. And since he's able to do that, I can apply minimal resistance for the extensor digitorum. And since he took minimal resistance, I can grade him a 2+. If he couldn't take any resistance, he'd be given a grade of 2. And if he could get through some of the range, but not all of the range in the gravity minimized position, he'd be given a grade of 2-. If there is visible movement of the tendons, then the client will be given a grade of 1. And if there's no visible contraction, he's given a grade of 0. And that's true for the extensor indicus and the extensor digiti minimi as well, so he can go ahead and bring each one back individually. Okay, so he was a grade of 2+ there and 2+ there.